I call this meeting to order at 7:30 p.m. We will now move into Section 2, swearing in. There is none. We will now move into Section 3, roll call.
When I please say your name, please say present. Senator Luna,
Present.
Senator Fan,
Present.
Senator Otten,
Present.
Senator Beam,
Present.
Senator Tiwana,
Present.
Senator Souls,
Present.
Senator Peng,
Present.
Senator Argumedo,
Present.
Senator Mallard,
Present.
Senator Owens,
Present.
Senator Brown,
Present.
Senator Casero Safar,
Present.
Senator Miller, Senator Hansen,
Present.
Senator Beatty,
Present.
Senator Arteaga,
Present.
Senator Boyd,
Present.
Senator Haynes,
Present.
Senator Mungaravani,
Present.
Senator Hatch, Senator Lewis,
Present.
I have 20 present. The simple majority is 10 and the two-thirds majority is 13.
Thank you. We'll now move into Section 4, messages from the student body president. The clerk may read.
Upon recommendation by the Senate and by my authority, the following have been signed and filed as law. SB-68-002 through SB-68-111. Pursuant the authority vested in me as president of the association by the Constitution and the laws of the Wichita State University Student Government Association, I hereby direct and order the following. EO-68-007 through EO-68-015 is filed, and EO-68-016, creating and appointing the Food Insecurity and Sustainability Director position. Whereas the Cabinet shall serve to advise and assist the President in the execution of the will of the Senate and the members of the Association, and to communicate the activities of the executive branch to the Senate. Whereas the President of the Association may create, develop, implement, and appoint any additional members of the Cabinet they deem necessary through executive order. Now, therefore, pursuant the authority vested in me as President of the Association by the Constitution and the laws of the Wichita State University Student Government Association, I hereby direct and order the following. Action 1. Create the Food Insecurity and Sustainability Director of the Wang Wen Administration with the following duties. Number 1. Serves on university committees relating to sustainability or food insecurities. Number 2. Chairs association committees relating to sustainability or food insecurity. Number 3, develop relationships with and meet regularly with leaders from all sustainability-related student organizations. Number 4, proactively address sustainability and food insecurities, concerns and policy issues, and recommend strategies and opportunities to ensure a more sustainable future for Wichita State University. 5, work on projects and programming to address sustainability needs. 6, work on projects and programming to address food insecurity needs in conjunction with the Shocker Support Locker. 7, studies and works with Wichita State Green Group to ensure the success and maintenance of the Wichita State Community Garden. 8, advise the President, Vice President, and Cabinet on sustainability and food insecurity practices and policies. 9, to complete any assignments as directed by the President and Vice President. Action 2, appoint Bryna Olalde Taylor to be Director of Food Insecurity and Sustainability. Action 3, direct the Central Office to notify the Student Senate of this action. This order shall be filed with the Association's office, added to the record, and shall become effective upon filing and remain in force until rescinded by the President of Association or following other procedures. This order shall become executive law and special order to be remained beyond the session. These orders shall be filed with the Association's office, added to the record, and shall become effective upon filing and remain in force until rescinded by the President of the Association or following other procedures. These orders shall become executive law and special order to remain beyond the session.
Thank you. We will now move into Section 5, 3-minute floor speeches. In lieu of senators using public forum as a mechanism to address the Senate, a senator may seek a recognition to give a speech on a subject of their choice, not exceeding 3 minutes in duration. 3-minute speeches are focused on specific topics. Senators may only hold the floor once during this period. Are there any senators that wish to speak in 3-minute floor speeches period at this time? Senator Owens.
Hi, team. I'm coming as a president of Disability Rights, Education, Advocacy, and Mentorship, or DREAM, here at WSU. This week, Thursday, from 11 to 1 p.m., we have our Therapy Dog Social, which will be in the first floor of the RSC. We partner with an organization called Love Unleashed. They train therapy dogs, very cool. And these dogs need to be socialized, so people need to squeeze them, hug them, pet them, and things like that. So we will have them visit us in the RSC, so please stop by if you're available, or if you have a class that ends at 12:30, then come stop by and pet some cute dogs. But I'm open to any questions if anyone has any.
Are there any questions for Senator Owens? Seeing none, thank you. Are there any other senators that wish to speak during the 3-minute floor speech period? Senator Mallard?
So I wanted to briefly talk about the market. We have made a lot of headway, and we are planning on either Thursday or Friday, the first Thursday or Friday of November. We chose Friday just because it's a really easy day, but we're looking at seeing about moving it to Thursday, but that's still in the air just because there will be more students on campus. We are also hoping this week to finally be reaching out and sending out the survey to all of the market people that we're wanting to table. Roughly 50 to 60 people that we've talked to. I've also talked to students. We're also looking at how we're going to get RSOs or agencies to table. And if you have any suggestions or any other ideas that you want to throw forward towards that, just let me know. And also, since I'm already up here, I'll also address something I said last week. I stated that we did not hold a memorial or service for the victims. I was corrected on that, so I just wanted to make sure that I am not spreading false information. So, but yeah, are there any questions?
Are there any senators that have questions for Senator Mallard? Seeing none, thank you. Are there any other senators that wish to speak in public forum at this time? Senator Lewis.
While we're informing people of events, I figured I may as well tell you that tomorrow night at 19 o'clock in the Heskett Center is Spectrum's Inclusive Swimming Night. So if you want to swim, that's a good chance.
Are there any questions for Senator Lewis? Seeing none, thank you. Are there any other senators that wish to speak during the speech period at this time? Senator Brown?
Hi, folks. I'll try to keep this pretty brief, and I'm very much my mom's kid because I can't talk quiet, so I'm going to stand a little further back. I'd like to use this time to discuss some current events regarding political violence. Senator Mallard kind of addressed a little bit last week, but I felt it was important to reiterate a couple things. Political violence in every form is unacceptable and directly contradicts our values as Americans and our commitment to First Amendment protected activities. You've heard this before, and it's because it's true. In June of this year, Speaker of the Minnesota House, Melissa Hortman, was assassinated alongside her husband, Mark Hortman, in their home in another act of political violence. And that same morning, Minnesota State Senator John Hoffman and his wife, Yvette Hoffman, were shot and hospitalized by the same assailant, and they caught him, but it launched the largest manhunt in Minnesota history. And then, as we know, last week there was a vigil on campus for conservative commentator Charlie Kirk, who was shot and killed at Utah Valley University in another act of political violence, and those are just from this year. Doesn't even talk about the last 6. And Charlie Kirk did not deserve to die for his beliefs and his exercising of his First Amendment right. But I think it's a good time to be clear about the person Charlie Kirk was and the kinds of things and beliefs he held, especially with the current administration attacking any speech that it doesn't paint him in a positive light. So I just want to remind everyone, this is the man who said, and I quote, "The Great Replacement Strategy, which is well underway every single day in our southern border, is a strategy to replace white rural America with something different." For those of you who are not aware, the Great Replacement Strategy is a far-right, white nationalist idea, conspiracy theory, that perpetuates the claim that the white population is being purposely and benevolently replaced by non-white immigrants. If it makes you uncomfortable to hear that out loud, it should. And yet he still did not deserve to die because he held that belief. At a conference in 2023, he said, and I quote, "We made a huge mistake when we passed the Civil Rights Act in the 1960s. And of course, the Civil Rights Act he is referring to is the legislation that outlawed discrimination based on race, color, religion, sex, and national origin. It banned segregation in public places like restaurants, theaters, and parks. It took nearly 70 years before all Americans could legally use the same public water fountains, and nearly 90 years before it really happened."
I'm sorry, your time is up.
I will stand for questions.
Are there any questions for Senator Brown? Senator Miller?
Why, thank you. What is the rest of your speech?
Mr. Speaker, may I continue?
How much of your speech do you have left?
A fourth.
I will let you do 3 more sentences.
Sounds good. It's imperative I remind everyone that Charlie Kirk is not somebody that should have statues put up or big banners hung from public buildings. This is a gentleman who preached hatred, preached bigotry. He's not an individual worthy of the Presidential Medal of Freedom, the highest civilian honor that a president can bestow upon a citizen of the United States. And a tolerant society can only exist if we exercise our right to reject intolerance.
Are there any more questions for Senator Brown? Seeing none, thank you.
Thank you.
Are there any more senators that wish to speak in the 3-minute floor speech period at this time? Seeing none, we will now move into Section 6, Public Forum. Public Forum provides a chance for individuals to have the privilege of speaking before the Senate, limited to 3 minutes only. This is a time for Senate to listen to what this community has to say, and to that, we offer our undivided respect and attention. I would like to remind everyone that, although we allow the speakers the privilege to use this platform, the opinions of the speakers do not reflect the opinions of the association. Are there any individuals that wish to speak in public forum at this time? Seeing none, we will now move into Section 7, Introductions and Reports. We will now go into 7.1, Report from the Executive Branch.
Hi, everyone. How's everyone doing? Good? Okay. We're going to go ahead and get started. But reports from the executive branch, President Wong attended KBOR, which is the Kansas Board of Regents, where she was able to discuss initiatives with other student body presidents of Kansas schools, such as discussions surrounding health insurance and financial aid. She also has been attending meetings with campus leadership, and later tonight she'll be presenting on the Student Legal Services Bill. I also attended KBOR and the Hope Advisory Board meeting. The Freshman Leadership Council will hold its first introductory meeting tomorrow, with the first official meeting being in a few weeks. Please still encourage freshmen to apply. Applications are still open. And I am working on committee appointments for the Health and Wellness Committee, along with a Finance Commission tracker for senators to see what has been approved and what is in progress. Treasurer Baum reported 5 presentations last week and will be going through 7 presentations this week for the Finance Commission. Chief of Staff Fritz continues coordinating meetings to ensure accurate records are maintained. Director Arens is continuing to update the federal/state legislation tracker. Director Zong is working on headshots, proof of fines, and upcoming presentations. Director Garcia Alvarez is planning civic engagement events along with planning some fun upcoming events, so stay tuned. He is also reaching out to organizations for future partnerships. Director Raju is in the process of ordering more menstrual products and upcoming meeting with SHS, flu vaccine clinics, and planning for Social Safety Week in late October. Director Khan is planning RSO training workshops, renewals, and assisting on the RSO Summit. Director Safdar is working on career development initiatives with the Shocker Career Accelerator, an international alumni panel, a potential career fair, and leadership training for international RSOs and students. Director Murphy announced that Shocker Madness will be held on October 4th and is still currently planning for the November 4th tailgate, including food and entertainment. Director Taylor is working with WSU Dining on a teaching kitchen, housing on donation drives, and reaching out to vendors for the SGA community market as well. Director Guthrie is planning a workshop with the Shocker Career Accelerator and working on additional professional development opportunities, including a mock interview workshop in the spring. And lastly, Advocate Island reported 9 active cases ranging from academic appeals to harassment and finance concerns. They are also coordinating accessibility updates and continuing partnerships with student support services.
Are you standing for questions?
Yes, are there any questions?
Are there any questions for Vice President Nguyen? Seeing none, thank you. We will now move into 7.2, report from the Speaker of the Senate. So good evening, everyone. I hope your week has been going well so far. So I have a few updates for you all today. So last week on Friday, I visited the agency board directors. I went to the agency board directors meeting with Vice President Nguyen and President Wong, where we met with the heads of several of the agencies. Additionally, on that same day, on that Friday, I visited the Black Student Union Cabinet to talk to them a little bit about future collaborations in SGA and sit-in within their cabinet meeting that they had. Additionally, last Thursday, I attended the Spectrum elections at their meeting that they had last week, and it went very well. I was very happy with how the process went out, in addition to all the amazing candidates that they had as well. Additionally, as you may have seen last night, I sent out surveys to all of you senators for executive committees that you may be interested in. I am mandating that all senators complete this form by 11:59 p.m. tomorrow, excluding chairpersons, for any executive committees that you may be interested or not interested in. For those that aren't interested in executive committees, there is an option on the form to say that you are not interested, so please fill out the form as soon as possible. And from there, after you fill out the form for committees where I can appoint senators to the executive committee, I will reach out to you. Otherwise, if it's for executive committee where there are student representatives spots available, I will forward your interest to the executive branch. Additionally, if you are in the Academic Affairs Committee, I sent you all another survey that I want all senators within Academic Affairs to fill out as well regarding Faculty Senate assignments. So please double check your email for that survey. Additionally, another thing that I've been working on is setting up one-on-ones with all of you senators. So if you have not heard back from me, or if you didn't respond to the email that I sent you with one-on-one times that may work, please either reach out to me if I did not respond to your email, or reach out to me if you did not respond to my initial email. Additionally, Vice President Nguyen and I have been reaching out to all the deans across all the colleges. We have heard back from a couple of deans, so please keep an eye out for communication from Vice President Nguyen and I regarding setting up those meetings and attending those meetings. The clerk and I are in the process of updating all the meeting minutes for Senate and Senate committees, attendance records, and voting records by the end of next week. So for next week's agenda, you should be able to see all the remaining Senate meeting minutes that will be up for approval. Finally, for tonight, we have a pretty heavy agenda for legislation. We have amendments to the Freshman Leadership Council bylaws, 2 appointment bills, a funding bill for a legal initiative, in addition to amendments to the Menstrual Products Advisory Board. As always, if you have any questions, please reach out to me at sga.speaker@wichita.edu, or you can reach out to me via GroupMe if you have any questions, thoughts, or concerns. Thank you all. I will stand for any questions if you may have any. Seeing none, we will now move to 7.3, report from the Senate chairpersons. We will go to Academic Affairs Chairperson Katsiro Safar.
Good evening, everyone. I attended the Faculty Senate meeting on Monday. The main presentation was from the College of Applied Studies, which proposed changing its name back to the College of Education in time for its 100th anniversary, with a strong support from students, alumni, and advisory board members. The change is meant to make the name more clear and easier to understand. Faculty Senate also got updates on the Kansas Board of Regents draft of workload policy. Faculty leaders are also making sure Wichita State University's policy matches, with a goal to finish it by spring and bring it back to the April general faculty meeting. There was also a discussion about proposed 90 credit hour bachelor degree, which are still under study and not expected to impact current programs at Wichita State University. I now stand for any questions.
Are there any questions for Chairperson Katsiro Safar? Seeing none, thank you. We will now move into the report from Diversity, Empowerment, Inclusion Chairperson Peng.
Good evening, everyone. For agency updates, ASC had their big Little Week last week. It was a week full of fun events for people to find either their big or little. I'll be attending their cabinet meeting this Sunday to see how that process works, along with possibly Speaker Fawn. So that will be a long night, but it should be a fun night as well. Today, they had their third general meeting, and it was about immigration. Halo had just finished up their Halo week last Friday, and tomorrow night is Bachata night, which I'm very excited for. It should be a fun night. For BSU, they just had a collaboration with Kappa Alpha Phi fraternity yesterday for one of their community service events, where they had made goodie bags for first and second graders at a local USC 259 school. Spectrum had their first fundraising event yesterday, where for $5 you can make your own custom tote bag. Tomorrow they have their inclusive swimming night, as Senator Lewis had mentioned, at the Heskett Center, which is always a big hit from what I've heard. Lastly, for those who have not heard, the ISU elections have been postponed to October 10th. If you would like to attend, please let Speaker Fawn and I know so that we can send you a calendar invite. With the ISU election, Speaker Fawn, Chairperson Tawana, and I will be looking at the agency bylaws and constitutions a little more closely to make sure that every agency has been following their own bylaws, but I will stand for questions.
Are there any questions for Chairperson Peng? Seeing none, thank you. We will now go to the report from Government Oversight Chairperson Tawana.
Good evening, everyone. I'll keep it short. This week I met with the advisor of Graduate Student Council because they needed help regarding updating their bylaws. They haven't been updated since 2020. So I'm meeting with the president and the advisor on Friday. The time hasn't been decided yet, but once I get a decision, I'll be meeting with them Friday to look into their bylaws, how they can update them. Other than that, regarding agency updates, Choker Votes Coalition had their voters registration drive yesterday morning in RSC. It was a huge success. And today they had this second conversation cafe at Fairmount Coffee. They had a good turnover over there as well. And other than that, like we approved all our committee meeting minutes from last 2 weeks of committee meetings, and that's pretty much it from my side. If anyone has any questions, I'll stand for questions.
Are there any questions for Chairperson Tawana? Seeing none, thank you. We will now go to the report from Student Services Chairperson Hanson.
Good evening, everyone. I'm happy to report that my committee has been working hard to complete our session's initiatives. Senator Miller is currently finalizing a resolution regarding the TRIO grant award notification issue, and we spent our committee time today revising the current draft. Additionally, Chairperson Tawana and I are planning to look over the bylaws for the Graduate Student Council for potential necessary amendments. I was also able to catch up on meeting minutes for committee as well, which were all approved in today's meeting. Other than that, I've spent most of my time preparing for other projects we plan to initiate soon and starting one-on-ones with cabinet and committee members and agencies.
Are there any questions for Chairperson Hanson? Seeing none, thank you. We will now move into 7.4, report from the central office.
Hello. Okay, in accordance with SGA policy, we are required to notify Senate of newly recognized organizations. The following organizations have been recognized as of September 22nd, 2025. The Student Association of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. The Student Association of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints at Wichita State University supports students in strengthening faith, fostering community, encouraging service, and balancing academic and spiritual growth in harmony with the church. The second organization is Live Through Christ Sports Ministry. Live Through Christ Sports Ministry at Wichita State University strives to equip and empower athletes in their faith, sport, and life. Next is election updates. Election for open Senate seats will be held next week. The process will remain the same. Ballots will only be distributed to students in the colleges that currently have open seats. Voting period opens this Monday at 8 a.m. and closes Wednesday at 5 p.m. If all goes well, scheduled new senators will be officially seated on October 8th, 2025. Lastly, Shocktoberfest kicks off next week. Lots of fun events and activities are on the calendar for this upcoming week. Big congratulations to Student Body Treasurer Bum, Senator Victoria Owens, and Senator Emeritus Adriana Owens for being nominated to the Shocker Royalty Court. Congratulations. Yeah. And this ended my report.
Are there any questions for Advisor Nolan? Seeing none, thank you.
Thank you.
We will now go to Section 8, the consent agenda. There is none. We will now move to Section 9, pending business. And before we head into 9.1, I will hand over the chair to President Nguyen.
The clerk may read.
Akon request to approve SB-68-108, amendments to the Freshman Leadership Council.
Is the author here in which to speak?
Okay, so for the Freshman Leadership Council amendments, it is the same as it was presented within the very first read. The Government Oversight Committee passed it with a recommendation to pass within their committee. No changes were made, so I will stand for any questions anyone may have for this legislation.
Are there any questions? Seeing none, we'll move into the debate period. Would anyone like to speak on debate? Senator Mallard?
Motion to approve with unanimous consent.
Are there any objections? Seeing none, the amendment is adopted as such. I will pass it back to Speaker Fawn.
Thank you. We will now move into Section 10, New Business, and we will now move into 10.1. The clerk may read.
Act on request to approve SB-68-112, appointing Guillermo Argumedo Lopez as the International Commissioner.
Is the author here and ready to speak? You have the floor.
Okay. Guillermo is a third-year pre-nursing major at Wichita State University. In his role at the Student Health Services, he works closely with students on a daily basis and has seen firsthand the challenges that international students face when navigating campus resources. Noticing a decline in awareness and understanding of available support among international students, he has become committed to advocating for them and ensuring that they have equal access to the tools they need to succeed. Alongside his awareness for the appropriations and student fees process, he is dedicated to using his experience and perspectives to strengthen outreach, build connections, and create a more supportive environment for international students here at Wichita State University. Are there any questions?
Are there any questions for Vice President Nguyen? I had a question, so can you speak on some of Guillermo's experiences with international students and some of the things that he may have highlighted within his interview?
Yeah. Am I able to also open it up to Guillermo to speak on this as well?
I'll allow it.
Sorry, can you repeat the question one more time?
Yeah, so my question was, can you speak a little bit more about your experiences with international students and provide some context that you may have provided within the interview regarding experiences or things you saw with international students?
Yeah, all right, yeah. So I've been part of Student Health Services for almost 3 years now. We have a process that we have to, here in the United States, we screen for tuberculosis, TB as we call it, where we require every international student to come through our office and get a QFT done, which is testing for TB. During that process, I am personally there and I meet every single international student that has come through those doors. I talk to them, I tell them the process. I kind of get to know a little bit about each and every one of them. I ask, I've gotten to opportunity to answer some of their concerns about moving to a new country, starting college life for the first time, and just kind of being there as one of the first people they get to meet, and that's also a student as well. I also, being my role in Student Health Services, I get to talk with the student body every day, and I kind of talk to a lot of the international populations about their concerns about healthcare costs of living in America, and kind of the fears of insurance and stuff like that. And I kind of understand the process that goes behind the scene of how us as an organization helps them pay for stuff like that. So that's kind of where I'm coming from.
Are there any more questions for Vice President Nguyen? Okay, seeing none, thank you. With that, we will now move into the debate period for this item. Are there any senators that wish to speak in debate at this time? Senator Lewis.
I move to approve by unanimous consent.
Are there any objections to this motion? Seeing none, it is adopted as such. We will now move into 10.2.
Act on request to approve SB-68-113, an act to approve funding for the Legal Services Program.
Is the author here and ready to speak? You have the floor.
Good evening, everyone. I am proud to present you all this bill. This bill will allow SGA to establish and support a student legal services program. The purpose of this program is to provide students with a staff lawyer who will be able to provide professional legal advice and services on matters that may impact a student's academic, personal, or professional lives. We have heard student concerns on legal issues such as scams, identity theft, immigration and student visas, domestic violence, civil rights violations, and more. These student concerns show that this program is necessary and essential. Additionally, other state institutions already have this program and resource founded back in the 1970s. Approving this bill means approving and creating a crucial resource on campus that we do not currently have. Thank you. I will stand for any questions.
Are there any questions for President Wong? Senator Owens?
First, how cool. Yeah, so this $200,000 allocation, what kind of contract period are we looking at for that dollar amount? Are we looking at like a 1, 2, 3, what is that kind of preliminary discussion for this?
Yeah, so we're looking primarily at a 1-year contract first to kind of start gathering data on the student populations. What kind of legal issues do these student populations face? How is the staff lawyer being utilized? And then after having that kind of information, we're going to have further conversations as to how would we financially be able to sustain this program. This is just to kind of kickstart it, and the hope is that we'll be able to kind of keep just one staff lawyer for 3 years, and then after that we'll have enough data to establish a department where we have, other graduate student positions or undergraduate student positions that will also be able to help assist in this program and things like that. I hope that answered your question.
Are there any additional questions for President Wong? Senator Miller?
I want to echo Senator Owens' remark that this sounds like an incredible program, but I was hoping you could provide some clarification as to what kind of burden this $200,000 amount on the project's budget is going to look like.
Yeah, so right now on the, I'm so sorry, I just lost my train of thought. Yes, so from the budget, the special projects and capital fund, that is right now at a little bit less than $2 million. So if we're talking about a $200,000 salary for the staff lawyer, out of the almost $2 million budget, it's not going to really impact it. Those dollars are there for SGA to utilize to fund projects, hence the name Special Projects and Capital Fund. It's there for not just the executive branch, but also the legislative branch and the judicial branch, should there be any programs and initiatives that just in general that SGA wants to utilize. That $2 million has already been collected out of student fees. And so honestly, that pool of money sits there for us to utilize for these new programs and initiatives. Otherwise, they go back into, I think, the reserves, but they are there to be utilized, and so this doesn't necessarily impact next year's budget or our current budget, other than we are utilizing it. So this is similar to the appropriations budget where we had $300,000 to allocate out to student organizations. The budget is there for us to utilize.
Are there any more questions for President Wong? Senator Owens?
Yeah, could you break down that $200,000 figure into the pieces that will go into that amount, why that amount? I know a piece of it, of course, is paying for this lawyer's salary, but what do those kind of pieces look like? Is the $200,000 entirely the salary, or are there other factors to consider?
So the $200,000 is entirely the lawyer's salary. In previous conversations, so this has been a conversation within Student Government Association for 5 years. We've tried to negotiate a lower salary, but we've been in contact with a lawyer who has been kind of helping us guide this process of how do we implement it at the university level. And he expressed that this would be a minimum salary to just even get a lawyer to be interested in taking on this work. And so That's kind of what we're working with here, is the advice of another lawyer that's also local to the Wichita area, that he knows the community, he knows his networks, and he knows what kind of salary they're looking for. So this would just to be able to establish the salary of the staff lawyer to get them to come onto campus.
Are there any more questions for President Wong? Senator Argumento.
So now that we kind of like officially like fully established that this is just for the salary of the lawyer, is this lawyer just going to be for WSU, or are they going to be able, are they like kind of like having their own firm or their own practice or doing something different, or are they solely just for WSU? Like this is their career, like this.
So this would be up to the hiring committee as to what they're looking for in a lawyer to the student's needs. So obviously we'll get student feedback in this process as well. Ideally, the lawyer would be taking care of any issues that fee-paying students have, because these are student fee dollars. Any fee-paying student will be able to utilize these legal services for free, and SJ will be covering just a salary of the staff lawyer who will be able to come onto campus. I think ideally we would like somebody who's solely focused on this, but we can't, I guess, discriminate against lawyers who may have their own practices or side businesses and things like that. And so it really is up to the hiring committee and kind of getting the feedback and seeing where we are. If there's not really a lawyer that's available that doesn't have, you know, their own practice or their own law firm, then we still want to be able to have this resource for students. I'd rather it be an option than no option at all.
Are there any other senators with questions for President Wong? We'll go to Senator Mallard.
So I believe you said that, so like this is the first, and then we'll look at it in the future if it goes through, and if that's the case, every year we would pull $200,000 out. Is that correct first, right?
I can't speak to what the next administration would do. Ideally, we would be able to launch this by the spring semester. So we would get a better picture before this administration ends as to how we can sustainably support this initiative. But again, I can't speak to the next administrations and what they do from here.
Are there any more questions from senators? Senator Lewis.
Will the hiring process take steps to ensure that the lawyer that you consulted about the salary is not the lawyer you hire?
I believe that the lawyer that we consulted is not interested in doing this work.
Are there any more questions from senators? Senator Miller.
So I understand that after you implement this, we'll start going into like data analysis of like what this looks like. I would like clarification on what a successful program would look like. So if you were to implement this, like what would you imagine is the ideal like standard for success for this program?
I think the ideal standard, obviously, our motto is that students come first. So somebody in this position is really not only seeing the student from just, I guess, one side of the law things, but also the student holistically, somebody who can support students through the cases and explain to them. I know before I joined SGA, I didn't know a lot of the legal jargon. Policies were kind of confusing, but then after you kind of utilize it, you understand it. But for the average student, you know, they're not gonna know all this legal jargon and how to navigate through the legal processes. Sometimes that gets a little bit complicated. So I think the success is seeing students, hearing their feedback and hearing good positive feedback that this staff lawyer was able to successfully support them through a case. It may not be the outcome that they wanted in a case, but as long as the student's being supported through this program and that student feels seen and heard, I think for me that would be the standard. Just because, you know, students and the staff lawyer, is up to the legal system, and sometimes the legal system doesn't give us the outcome that we want. But as long as that student understands the process and understands how they got to that outcome and understands that they've done all that they can through this legal process and that they're not being, I guess, punished further for not being able to follow the legal process, I think that is my standard going forward into this program.
Advisor Fonseca, do you have something?
Yeah, I think I would also add, for the years that we've been talking about this program and the students that have always come to either the advocate's office, the student government office of seeking these kinds of resources or this support, I think the success also looks like being able to give them an actual option. I think for a while, the advocate's office and myself, we've been really thinking about where we can point students for some of these one-off type of unique services or unique needs. And there are several nonprofit organizations in the state and the city as well that provide some of these, but our students don't qualify for those. Our international students don't qualify for those. I think there are population students who can receive those services from the city or from, I think about the Kansas Legal Service Center out of Topeka. But a big significant reason of why we've been driving this for so many years now, one is a lot of our students can't utilize those services because they don't qualify from a financial standpoint or whatever it might be. And so I think for the years we've been talking about this, I think the dream is also being able to actually say, yes, we have a person for you and here they are, to address some of these concerns that have been coming up for years. I think for some historical context to this, student government used to offer something, I don't even want to say similar because it really, really wasn't, but where we worked with some lawyers who provided some pro bono hours and really just kind of sat down with the student to say, yeah, that kind of sounds serious, or maybe you don't really have a case here. And that was the extent of what that program used to be. And then, of course, we started getting into issues around, various different kind of scenarios. And so I think ultimately being able to say, here is the resource and the service for you at a cost that you've already paid for in your student fees, I think would also be one to be able to finally be able to tell students, yep, we have a service, and instead of being able to say, no, we don't have anything for you to help you through that process too.
Are there any more questions for President Wong? Senator Owens?
No, this might be a question for Gabe. I know that the KU Legal Services Clinic does not allow their students to sue their own institution, obviously through contracts, bylaws, and things like that. A lot of the students I interact with who need support are typically needing and discussing ADA compliancy and disability support needs and accommodations. Typically that means suing your own institution. So kind of two-pronged question here. One, will there be jargon or, contractual, bylaws put in place to prevent students from suing their own institution, WSU? And if so, what will kind of be the overarching look at supporting those students with those accessibility concerns, or is it just find a private practice?
Yeah, the current, so last year, and then bleeding out of the Okiri administration and then a little bit into the Howard administration is when we launched the first request for a proposal, which was our first attempt to start this process where we learned we weren't doing this 100% correctly. And a part of there does have language that a student can't utilize this service to sue the institution. And that would continue to be language we would have in there of what this service cannot provide. It also has some language in there similar to the KU and the K-State model where you can't sue another student utilizing this service either. So, that would be kind of weird. And so in our conversations with my counterparts at KU and K-State, and especially last year when we had this conversation with them, a lot of what some of their resources provide are really kind of providing the clarity to the student of here's the process you'll take while let's pretend I was a lawyer. While I, as a lawyer, can't help you do it, here is the information and the process and the connection in which you can navigate those things as you decide to do it. I think the benefit for the KU model, they also have a law school there, and so I think the other clinic that they offer outside of their student legal services program, they also have a separate legal service clinic run by the student lawyers, have a different kind of avenue there as well. But I would assume that our language would, well, not assume, the language would include in there to say that you can't utilize this service to sue the institution or to sue another student at the institution. However, I would imagine, similar to those other two spaces, it would be here's the information and the resources to direct you to, and potential here's some additional connections to other spaces and places that you can utilize because I can't provide that service for you. That kind of make sense, or clarify, or answer your question?
Can I ask a mini question as well?
You may ask a follow-up question.
Does that include students attempting to sue staff members or professors?
I would imagine the same because they would be connected to the institution.
I wasn't sure if it's
Yeah.
just student fees paying individuals. Okay.
Yep.
Are there any more questions for President Wong? Senator Owens?
Will this be free for students?
Yes, completely free to all fee-paying students.
Are there any more questions? Senator Miller?
Let's imagine the dream scenario that this program is a huge success and there's a lot of students who are really interested in using the service. Do you have concepts of how you will decide, like, is it going to be first come, first serve? Is it going to be by what need they have? Like, how are you going to determine the order in which students will receive the services and, like, handle that workload if a lot of students are really interested in utilizing it?
I think just to jump in, one of the things that the bill also requires is if we are successful in the search, then we would then begin writing the policy on how the utilization of this program would go. And I think we have I think that for years there's been some philosophies of how we might approach that. You know, one of the versions had where you have to go to the student advocate's office first, and then they would help you figure out if you use them. Now we're going down this model. It would probably be, I imagine, a first come, first serve. But another proposal will come to the Senate at some point in this fall, spring semester, depending on when we're successful in hiring someone, that will then lay out that process. And so I don't necessarily want us to jump into the space now of like how we would solve that, because beautiful magical world, right? Everyone would use it. But I think we'll have those discussions when and if the search is successful, the part of what this bill does is then requires that some additional policies, and then really the bylaw to it is then written, which is similar to what the other two schools did when they did it in the 70s. They had a very similar process when they designed theirs.
Are there any more questions? Senator Owens?
Last one, folks, I promise. More of a funding feasibility question. I know we discussed a little bit earlier that this is more of a pilot program. We're, seeing the 200,000, and then future administrations will see if they want to continue. But I know we're seeing our last contractual year of the Special Projects and Capital Fund. So would in the future administrations have to rely on the reserves as it goes into the reserves to pull from that? Because I know traditionally we've been more hesitant in past years to pull from that space.
Yeah, great question. I would say when student government establishes a program that they continue long-term, they build it into permanent funding lines after that. And so while this year the initial idea is to pull it from the special projects account, I would imagine in the at least upcoming fiscal year with the new administration, if the program, which I would imagine the program would continue, would then be funded probably for the final year out of the special projects account. I would imagine at that point, then conversations would be had of moving this into a permanent student fee line out of the student government's budget, similar to what we did with the menstrual products, similar to what we did with some of the other internal programs that student government created with our scholarships and some other things that after a year, they really do move into a permanent line item within the budget so that we're not necessarily relying on reserves, because now we have stricter policies on our reserves that we can't spend in that capacity anymore. And to your point, we have one final year of our special project account before we decide what to do with it long term. So I would imagine even after its first year, the conversation would be moving it into a permanent line item to be funded.
Are there any more questions? I actually had a question, so going back to what you would consider to be a successful program, what standards or metrics or safeguards do you have to ensure that the $200,000 is being used effectively for this initiative?
Yeah, so within the bill there is, hold on, let me pull it up real quick. In section 3, if the search is successful, we would amend the association's bylaws to form an advisory board. But while that is happening, I had imagined that Amy and I would tag team this to coordinate with central office to make sure that, one, the staff lawyer is being transitioned successfully, and that they have all the knowledge and resources of campus to utilize at their disposal. And then two, making sure that, we're having regular meetings with them, just to check in, make sure how they are dealing with cases. Obviously, everything would be confidential and nothing would be shared, just to make sure that students' privacies are being respected. But we would be checking in regularly with them just to make sure, because I want to be fiscally responsible with student fee dollars. And if this program isn't successful or students aren't utilizing it, then we need to know that information so that we can kind of go forward about the continuation of this program.
Are there any more questions for President Wong? Seeing none, thank you. We will now go into the debate period for this item. Are there any senators that wish to speak in debate at this time? So I'll speak in debate. So I'm going to speak in affirmation of this legislation. As it was mentioned within the presentation, this initiative has been in the works for a few past association administrations, and it's something that we explored a little bit last year as well. I think there is a demand from students to have legal services provided by the Student Government Association, especially with last year where a lot of our international students wanted to have a panel where they could get legal advice from an attorney, immigration attorney, or from different students in dealing with different concerns that they had from the legal perspective, especially with some of the things happening within the state of Kansas itself. So I'm speaking in affirmation of this bill. Are there any other senators that wish to speak at this time? Senator Lewis.
I'm speaking in affirmation. I think this is very necessary, and while I'm a little concerned about the cost, it is a near on-demand prepaid legal service that I think will greatly benefit students.
Are there any other senators that wish to speak? Senator Owens.
What's up, team? Similar sentiments. I think we've had continuous conversations about the needing to support our international students, especially after many executive orders that potentially challenge their ability to stay here and, contribute and go to WSU and continue their education. So this is definitely incredibly important. Also, on the cost figure, this is honestly lower than I thought it would be, to be honest, because, anything about law, typically you find your niche, you sit in that niche, and you get paid a pretty decent sum. But if this lawyer is going into every niche, family law, immigration, things like that, you need a very, very experienced and dedicated and a really professional lawyer. So this is a great figure to me. Honestly, I thought it would be higher, so that's really nice to see. An addendum to that, as a future law student myself, I find it also really lovely to see the opportunity of potential students interning at this place and getting that experience. It's another tangible way for students to hopefully in the future get paid to, do these kinds of things and to get direct experience, and it brings, accessible services to the students for free. I think there's no reason why we shouldn't pass it and consider this an incredible win. So I really, really have to just give my kudos to the executive branch for all of their work here, because this is fabulous. And I remember seeing President Wong's speech and just like gasping a little bit when she said it, because it was so exciting and really, really cool. So very excited to see this, because I have looked at the legal services and KU and just been wondering, could we do this at WSU? And now we are, so that's very exciting. So definitely recommend voting in favor.
Are there any other senators that wish to speak at this time? Senator Mallard.
Yeah, I'll also be speaking in affirmation. I'm also extremely surprised, as was stated, that we don't have one here, and the fact that KU has had one for ever. And this is a service that students will be able to use. And, you know, as it states, not just for university stuff like potentially code of conduct or Title IX, but for literally everything. And we're here to support our students' health and benefits. And also in regards to the cost, I think this is way more important than moving a statue. But yeah, that's all I'll say. Thank you.
Are there any other senators that wish to speak at this time? Senator Miller?
I would like to echo Senator Fawn, Mallard, Owen, and Lewis's statements. I think that this will really mark itself as a pretty momentous occasion in the Student Government Association's history. I also think that this will be a great service for students, and I think it's well worth the $200,000.
Are there any senators that wish to speak in negation at this time? Okay, seeing none, I'm closing the debate period. We will now go into the voting period.
I'll be calling in all the senators, and please say yes or no if you're with this bill or not. Senator Luna?
Yes.
Senator Fan?
Yes.
Senator Otten?
Yes.
Senator Beam?
Yes.
Senator Tijuana?
Yes.
Senator Souls?
Yes.
Senator Peng?
Yes.
Senator Argumedo?
Yes.
Senator Mallard?
Yes.
Senator Owens?
Yes.
Senator Brown?
Yes.
Senator Casirosafar?
Yes.
Senator Miller?
Yes.
Senator Seals? Senator Hansen?
Yes.
Senator Beatty?
Yes.
Senator Arteaga?
Yes.
Senator Boyd?
Yes.
Senator Haynes?
Yes.
Senator Mungaravani?
Yes.
And Senator Lewis?
Yes.
I have the complete 20 votes. This bill is passed.
Advisor Fonseca, would you like to say something?
Yeah, I think just quickly, I want to just, for those who have been in student government for a while, you know that often I go back to thinking about this pool of money that we have that your predecessors didn't get to enjoy, and they didn't, and a lot of them came up with some ideas, and the biggest thing that stopped us from executing some of those was money. And you know, when John and I talked about this one during her transition and over the summer, I remember sitting in a space in the student government office with the former student body president at that point 5 years ago, with the idea of how do we get lawyers for students when we realize that university and the general counsel doesn't provide that service for students, which makes a lot of sense. And the biggest thing that I said was, I don't know how we're going to pay for it. And years after that, then we jump into the Okiri Martin's administration, and they're the first ones that decide to put some of these thoughts into paper and begin to put something out there. And, you know, again, thrown back with them of how are we going to pay for this type of program. And then, you know, you jump into the Howard and Fawn administration, and it's the first time that we have resources to do something. And we attempted the first round, and they got a lot farther and, you know, kept pushing this thing down a little bit more. And then we get into this one with the Wong-Win administration. And I just want to take a moment to just say congratulations to, you know, people who have put in the work for the 5 years who got us to this point. And a big thank you, because I know that 2 of them are probably watching right now. I know that 2 are watching because I told them that this is getting introduced tonight. And I think it's just one of those things and a testament for the rest of you that you may never get to see some of the things come to life in this space. I think there are people in here who have been here for a minute and have known that it's taken some work to get these things to become a real reality. But it's the energy you put forward to keep moving things forward and keep moving things forward. And 1 year after another, eventually it will get done. And so thank you to you all for being willing to do it, and for for President Wong and Vice President Nguyen for committing to doing this and for finishing the job that your predecessor started. So big congrats to you guys, and thank you for finishing this project and letting us start it. And just a reminder to everyone that, again, while you may never get to see some of the things come to life, it still makes it worth it to finish it, to start it, to introduce it, to keep pushing it. And this is why we transition projects down to next administrations to finish. So big kudos to you guys, and I just wanted to kind of throw that out there.
Thank you, Advisor Fonseca. But with that, we'll move into 10.3.
Act on request to approve SB-68-114, appointing Senator Haynes to serve as pro temp of the Diversity, Empowerment, and Inclusion Committee.
Is the author here ready to speak? You have the floor.
Good evening, everyone. Once again, tonight I am nominating Senator Haynes to become the pro temp of the DEI committee. For those who do not know Senator Haynes, he is a fourth year this year studying forensic science with involvement with the Student Government Association, along with the participation of BSU, Alpha Phi Alpha, and NPC. I've had the pleasure of being Senator Haynes pro temp for the past 2 sessions within the DEI committee, so it is my honor to nominate him as mine. I cannot think of a better person to serve as my pro temp. He is always very motivated to serve the students of Wichita State, goes out of his way to help others, and if you know him, he is also very honest and will always speak his mind, which I absolutely love about him. If approved, I cannot wait to work with him further and see what he has planned for the committee, but I will stand for questions.
Are there any questions for Chairperson Peng? Seeing none, thank you. We will now move into the debate period for this item. Are there any senators that wish to speak in debate at this time? Senator Owens.
I would gas you up right now, but you already know how much I care about you. So I'm motioning to approve using unanimous consent.
Are there any objections to this motion? Seeing none, is adopted as such. Before we go into 10.4, I will hand over the chair to Vice President Nguyen.
The clerk may read.
Act on request to approve SB-68-115, amendments to the Menstrual Product Advisory Board.
Is the author here and wish to speak?
Okay, so for this legislation, it would amend the Menstrual Product Advisory Board. So the only change that it would make to the overall makeup of the board is that it would remove the 2 seats allocated to focus representatives, as that organization is no longer an organization, recognized the organization at Wichita State. I will stand for any questions that you all may have.
Are there any questions? Senator Brown?
So do they just legitimately not exist at all now? Or they're just not recognized now?
They do not meet regularly anymore. To my knowledge, they aren't recognized by the Student Engagement with Belonging Office, so they've been inactive for a couple of years now.
Okay, thank you.
Senator Mallard?
If I may, just make a quick statement on that. I'm the previous treasurer of Focus, and yeah, we haven't met for, I think it's 2 years now, and the advisor did reach out to everyone in Shocker Sync, asking if anyone would like to bring it back. It looks like no one did, so yeah.
Are there any other questions? Okay. Any last calls? Okay. Seeing none, this legislation is now referred to the Government Oversight Committee. I will hand it back over to Speaker Fawn.
Thank you. We will now move into Section 11, adjournment. The Student Government Association Student Senate will stay on adjournment until Wednesday, October 1st at 7:30 p.m. This meeting is adjourned at 8:39 p.m.